Hello, this is Clint from the Farmer's Grove. You'll probably hear the rain. It's been coming in waves this morning. I'm trying to get some winter squash out. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to do a quick video. It's kind of like the virtue signaling or sometimes the perma shaming, and how we can, if we don't pay attention to that, we can think more like a permaculture entrepreneur about something. So one of the things you always hear in permaculture, and when you're getting into permaculture, it's very different because you're looking at energy flows and you're looking at ethical ways of doing things, and you're wanting to do the right thing. I totally get it. But one of the principles that a lot of people talk about that I think is confusing to a lot of new people is, one of the things of permaculture, which makes it so different, is the systems that you put in feed the systems on the property. So, your mulch, your fertilizers, all that type stuff is as much as you can comes off the system itself. But when you start a new system, say you get a new yard or something like that, and you just buy a house and it's nothing but clipped grass and there's nothing there for the system to really supply, so you're going to have to bring it in. So even though you're bringing in material and then you hear someone make a comment or you come across a video where you should be, the system should be supporting itself if it's truly permaculture, disregard that type stuff. If you're on a horse pasture like I have, and you know that you need to bring in materials like wood chips and mulch and hay and different things like that to get the system up and going, because the confusion that happens is when you're starting a system, it's very different when you have a system 5, 10, 15 years down the road. So bringing in material is not unethical. It's a resource that most people waste or burn or something like that. So why don't we put it to good use? Once you get your systems in place enough that you can start recycling all that through your own system, and that's the goal. But you've got to get there to start with. It's kind of like natural farming. People talk about natural farming all the time, like the one straw revolution. And in the book, they always overlook the part where you have to build the soil up before that works. Now, how do you build the soil up? Well, you're going to bring in more manure. You're going to have to lay a lot more mulch. If you don't have that already there, you're going to have to bring it in, because if you just try to do natural farming with a degraded system, you get degraded results. So don't be afraid to do that. So if you're on a system, say you need mulch, you have your quarter acre where you're going to put your food forest, or you buy a bigger property and there's not a lot of material there when you're starting out, how can you look at something as simple as bringing in material and think of it the way as a permaculture entrepreneur would? Well, one of the things I'm doing on my farm is I'm clearing fence rows, because there is this tonnage upon tonnage upon tonnage of organic material, because these fence rows haven't been cleared out in 15 years. Now, when I go to put a chicken fence up against this to make sure the chickens don't escape my property, I'm going to have them cleared off anyway. Most farmers want to have a nice, tidy looking fence row. Most farmers don't want to take the time to go do it, nor do they want to pay a whole lot to get it done. This is where a permaculture entrepreneur way of thinking can get you ahead on many different aspects. So if we're needing organic material, and you're driving around and you're seeing all these fence rows that's clogged full of honeysuckle and weeds and different type of primrose and bushes and blackberries and everything else, and you're looking at that and you realize what that actually is, he's probably going to come along here in a week or so and he's going to spray it with Roundup or something like that, or he's going to cut it all out and just burn it. Why not go to that farmer that doesn't want to deal with it anyway and go, look, if you were looking at this job, to do this, and then not talking to the farmer now, but just so we get a context the way I'm thinking. If you were going to have a business to go clear out fence rows and say he's got a certain amount of feet, you put your time and all that involved in that, but you really need the material because you really need it for mulch and to do different things, make compost, whatever. And if it was a $500 job, and the farmer knows it's a $500 job, but he probably only wants to pay say $400 for the job because he didn't want to really deal with it, and it's a lot of material. What if you went to the farmer and said, I will clean your fence row out for $250 or $300? Now, the farmer's going to look at you like you're crazy, because hourly that's going to not be the highest and no one else would want to do it. He doesn't want to do it. And then all of a sudden you can work out a deal where you get the organic material that if you had it in your system, you're going to be working for anyway, but now you're going to be getting paid to go get that off of his fence row. And you can look at this in all different kind of ways, going to get old firewood off people's property, going to blow leaves into tarps and take it away for them for a small fee. You can actually generate income that you can put into your systems by doing the things that you would normally do if it was your system anyway, but you can just think about it from a point where you can get paid. But I will warn you, if you're going to go about it this way and you're going to think about everything as I've got to get the most amount of money because I'm worth as much as Bill Gates on my time or some nonsense like that, it's not going to work very well. But if someone were to come to me on this farm and being busy and everything like that, someone were to come to me and go, for $300, if I wasn't doing permaculture and I didn't need the organic material, and I knew I needed to put a fence up, and they said, I'll clear all your fence rows for $500, $600 because it's quite a bit, I would go, yeah, knock yourself out, absolutely. Because I'd rather spend my time doing something else, just like a farmer would do. But the person that's cutting all that out of the fence rows would literally have tractor trailer load after tractor trailer load of free mulch, but it's more than free because you're getting paid for it. And bringing that into your system where someone else is probably going to waste it anyway, there's nothing negative about that. So if you're starting a new system, don't let the perma shame happen to you. Think about your own systems, your own needs, but more than that, start looking at what you're going to be doing as a way that you can generate money and stacking functions on top of each other, because that's just a basic principle of permaculture. If you need the material, someone has the material. And you could go and get the material and get paid at the same time. Now you're stacking functions of soil building and generating income. And to me, that's a lot smarter way to go about doing things inside of permaculture when you're using that energy anyway. Stack as many functions as you can on that, and income should be part of it.